A lot of people have asked me the correlation between bariatric surgery and alcohol use disorder, because my wife had a bariatric surgery back in 2014. She had a gastric sleeve bypass. In fact, initially they were going to do a gastric bypass, which is a complete, basically, removal of your stomach. But when they went in to do that operation, they discovered that she had a fatty liver, and that it'd be too much stress on her liver and her heart if they had continued with that procedure looking down the road. So 6 months later, they scheduled a gastric sleeve, which is really cutting the stomach in half. You still have part of the stomach, but you still get the benefits of losing weight because your stomach has been greatly decreased. The thing is, people talk about addiction correlations, so you go from food to alcohol, and that does happen to a lot of people who do have bariatric surgery. The thing is, my wife's case, her only problem was the alcohol. The reason why she had so many calories and why she had gained upwards of over 100 pounds was because of the alcohol. Okay, she didn't have a food problem, she just had an alcohol problem, and all those calories added up, and unfortunately it's a very toxic situation once you have your stomach removed, and I'll continue why. And really, every situation is different, but in my wife's case, her major problem that started all this was that she had no thyroid. She had not only an underactive thyroid, she had a non-functioning thyroid, which means she didn't have the ability to burn calories like most people, and she took levothyroxine really her entire life. And a big part of her problem is when she went through like a detox, or if she stopped drinking on her own, she would have two detoxes. She would have the levothyroxine detox and then the alcohol detox, and it was like the perfect storm. This is why we had to call 911 so many times. This is why she went to the emergency room so many times. And this is one of the reasons why she was so agreeable to go to professional detoxes, so that they could give her medications, because the levothyroxine withdrawals were just as bad, if not worse, than the alcohol withdrawals. So if anybody's had that particular situation, that's why. And really, the biggest problem when people have a gastric sleeve or a gastric bypass surgery is that and they mix it with alcohol, is that the absorption rate goes up by about 4%. So, one can of beer is like drinking 4 cans. A bottle of wine is like drinking 4 bottles. Your absorption rate increases. You become intoxicated much quicker, and then again, your tolerance levels have to go up naturally. And it's just a toxic combination, and it's not good for your body. The problem is because your stomach has been removed, you now have low carb intake that can release to sugar or glycogen in your body. Alcohol consumption further depletes glycogen, which causes blood sugar to drop, and it gives you a much higher risk for low blood sugar. Not a good thing to do. Alcohol and bariatric surgery do not mix. And incredibly, I don't know why this isn't discussed more before people actually have the surgery, but right down the line, there's a 30% chance that you're going to develop an alcohol use disorder with the peak onset within 2 years of having that surgery. So 1/3 of the people that have gastric sleeve, gastric bypass, or some variation of that are going to have an alcohol problem within 2 years. I think that's something that really needs to be addressed in that profession. There's also a 1.98, almost 2% fold increase in a risk of suicide compared to patients that didn't have the surgery and remained obese. I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, I know people that have had bariatric surgery, and unfortunately it did end their lives within 5 to 10 years. It's not always the happy outcome. They lost a lot of weight, but they had so many other complications. And then there's addiction transfer, people who change from their food addiction to an alcohol addiction because they need all that carb intake. It's a tough situation all the way around, and sometimes you might want to weigh just losing weight on your own, as opposed to removing part of your vital organs like your stomach or intestinal tract. And the thing is, if you've had bariatric surgery and your stomach's been removed or reduced, the last thing you need to be filling that stomach with is alcohol. Okay, because your absorption rate's going to go up, and you're not going to be eating food. You're not going to be eating any nutritional food. What happens is a lot of alcoholics, they eat fatty food, they eat fried food, they eat quick food, fast food. My wife was either eating fast food or she was buying like frozen meals, and that's all she would eat because she needed that carb intake. And again, she lost about 150 pounds, but near the end, it started coming back up because of the alcohol, and just a horrible situation. So, I mean, I know a lot of people go through this because there's a transfer addiction. A lot of people who have food problems also have alcohol problems later on because of bariatric. So I know it's an important issue for a lot of people. I know there's a lot of families who have someone like this in their life that go through this as well. I really hope this kind of information is helpful. I mean, I have these stories and so much more really in her memoir. It's called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. We talk a little bit about, her bariatric issue and really how it ultimately, contributed, I think, to a large part to her ending because it just increased her alcoholism. Her spike in drinking just went off the charts, and she had her surgery in late 2014, and she passed away 5.5 years later. And I think it was directly attributed to her bariatric surgery, to the gastric sleeve bypass. Again, I have a complete coaching program. It's designed to help families and the alcoholic. Schedule a breakthrough call. Link is in the bio. It takes about 45 minutes. We do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family. The call is free. The course is definitely not. And the call is to go over the course and get you situated. And I'm looking for people who want to change their lives and the lives of their family. And again, thanks so much for listening.